This is the Binti Love Podcast, and I'm your host, Binti Love. And this is the 5 points, 5 stars review. Okay, so today I'll be reviewing the Love and Marriage, Huntsville, Alabama. Now this is the season 5, episode 17. So this is part 2 of the reunion. Now, you know, guys, we just went through part 1. So this is part 2 of the reunion. And so, it's going to be either a research moment or a teachable moment with this, guys. So stay tuned for that one right there. Okay, so so it's Love and Marriage, Huntsville, Alabama. And these are our favorite people because they're the cast members on the show. Then we got everyone here is all normal, We got Melody, Martell, Marcus, Tisha, Kimmy, the main crew here, and Maurice and the doctor, the new couple that came this season. We'll learn more about them, I guess, as we go on. Because recently they were like, they're not saying too much. And I haven't seen them at the reunion as of yet. Or did I just overlook it? Did I see her at the reunion? Okay. I might have overlooked them because they didn't say anything yet. But I'm definitely going to stay tuned for that, but for part 3 of the reunion, and try to see, are they missing or they just didn't bring them out yet? I didn't see them sitting on a couch. Let me think. I know I saw Kimmy, Maurice, Marcus and Tisha, and Melody and Martell. And I think they brought out Stormy and Destiny and then Wanda, Tisha's mother. But I didn't see these two very nicely dressed and things of that sort. Or the doctor there, with his nice tie and things on. I didn't see them there at all. So, okay, Mr. Bowtie. So I didn't see those other two. So that's pretty interesting. But maybe, in part 3, we might find out more like, okay, this and that, and what really happened was that. But I didn't see them part 1 or part 2. Okay, so this is the reunion part 2. I gave this review 5 stars. So this is Love and Marriage, Huntsville, Alabama, season 5, episode 17, reunion part 2, Binti Love Podcast, 5 points, 5 stars review, and I'm your host, Binti Love. And this is me right here. This is me giving my commentary right there. Okay, so I was like, I gave this review 5 stars for this reunion part 2. And I'm going to tell you why. So for point number 1, I need just to comment on these no socks having men. So these guys were like out there. Yeah, they're totally dressed up. They were totally dressed up nice. And also Carlos King, the host, and he was dressed up nice. They were like overly nicely dressed with like nice tie, a vest, nice shirt, jacket, and pants. But they were like, we're not going to put any socks on, guys. So I thought that was funny. I'm like, how are you going to just have all these clothes on and say, but we don't want any socks. So I'm thinking, is this a trend for guys lately? And like, okay, let me wear this, let me wear that, but please no socks. Please no salt on the mashed potatoes, guys. Yeah, they're like, okay, I'll do this, and that. But I don't know, they might have had a little fit in the dressing room if you told them to put some socks on. That's what it seemed to me. So yeah, the guys had no trouser socks on. So I was like, this is very interesting. All this nice dressing up and no socks on. So I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, so, I was like, okay, we're not going to have any socks on today. So I thought that was hilarious. Very funny. I was kind of thinking also, I was like, don't shoes hurt a little bit, especially when there's new shoes without socks? I can't imagine putting my feet in some new shoes without any type of stocking on. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not breaking in these new leather shoes. So I thought that was hilarious. I really thought that was hilarious. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so yeah, so I was like, okay, yeah, this is kind of interesting. That was point number one. I just needed to comment on those no socks wearing dudes, man. I'm like, okay, we're going to get dressed up, but we're not going to wear socks. So I definitely wanted to comment on that. I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, moving on. Point number 2. Let me report, I do not feel this needs to be a 3-part reunion. So I'm going to tell you why. I do not feel this needs to be a 3-part reunion because I just didn't feel like this season was so exciting. It was kind of like they were just going over all the stuff that already happened. So I felt as though, okay, 3 parts for what? You know what I mean? Like, so I was really surprised that it was like part number 1, then part number 2, and I was like, okay. Yeah, so, yeah. So, like, they should have edited some of this out. Like, I didn't feel as though everything should have been like, okay, 3 parts of not really saying anything. So yeah, I felt as though they should have edited some of it out, and they did not need to have 3 parts. I think they should have been like a 2-part reunion. That's unless they're like, okay, I'm going to bring up a whole lot of stuff, you know what I mean? Like, they're like, okay, I'm going to bring up a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, if they're like, okay, we're going to just do a lot of stuff, you know? So, you know, like if Letitia right here with a nice white gown on, if she was like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, and Kim right there had great hair, I was like, okay, I want to do this, and she wanted to talk about this and that. You know, Melody, she wanted to bring up stuff, but she was kind of like not really talkative. Yeah, with the good golden locks right there. And so, I just feel as though that if they didn't have that there, then I feel as though I don't see why it's like, oh, we're going to stretch this out for three episodes. Like, I can see if they're going to bring up, like, past episodes and years of other stuff, then I can see the stretch out, but I don't really feel like they really got to the bottom of anything. You know, they could have, like, totally brought out the doctor right here with all the gray hair there, you know, with his knowledge and wisdom. And so they could have brought him out. Yeah. But so I felt as though it should have been like, you know, only 2 parts of this. But we'll see in episode, episode 3, reunion part 3, if they are going to do more. Which brings me to point number 3. My criticism is the fact that this is a 3 parts to what was not really a sensational season. This season, guys, was really not a sensational season at all. And so I didn't feel as though it was like, okay, this is the most sensational part of the season and anything of that sort. So I felt as though the 3 parts, that's my criticism. I felt as though they should have made it cute and realized it wasn't so sensational this year. And just should have went through the reunion like, okay, before people realize they didn't really have anything to talk about too much. And the biggest moment was when there was the cookout or whatever, the gathering in front of the hair salon that Destiny owns, and they had a little bit of a tiff, a little bit of an issue and things of that sort, and argumentatively back and forth and stuff like that with Melody and Wanda and everyone else. And so that was like the biggest aha moment for the season. And so, and I think that was in this season, because they broke it up over the summer, I think. But yeah, so I don't really feel as though it was like too much stuff that they could have really did. And so, if anything, they should have just like, okay, let's just have this be like 2 seasons and things of that nature. Yeah. But okay, so you are watching the Binti Love Podcast, 5 points, 5 stars review. I'm your host, Binti Love. And let's see right here. Okay. So yeah, I'm your host, Binti Love. And this is the podcast, Binti Love Podcast, 5 points, 5 stars review. And I'm your host, Binti Love. That's me right there. And you can find me on YouTube or TikTok. Coming to Spotify in 2023. And I'll talk more about that. And you can get more information about that on my website, www.bintilove.com. And take time right now to subscribe, guys, and tell 10 people to subscribe too. Okay. So yeah, this is what I'm really saying, and that was point number 3. My criticism basically was like, okay, they really don't have anything to talk about this season. So, and I sat on the sofa, the couch, and whatever you call it, and they really did not. It was like Carlos King was like having to pull information out of them. It's like, they got so dressed up and they really, really looked nice. Like Melody really, really looked nice. She had some type of metallic metal dress on. I was like, okay, yeah. And everyone else, Carlos King looked nice. All of them looked nice, very, very nice. And but it seems as though they were like, okay, after the hours of makeup and stuff, like they felt as though they can just sit there and not talk about anything. Like, okay, I made it to a reunion, and now I can just sit here. When actually, the reunion is really a time that you really have to go over all the stuff that you've been going over, having us watch during the whole season. So I think that, just want to speak about that. I felt as though they need to talk more. It's like Carlos King is the one giving everything, and they're not doing anything. Which I think is very interesting because, during the season, they were talkative. It just nothing was really happening. And I also feel as though they are not opening up as much as they should open up. Like, I feel as though they need to really open up more than they have. I feel like they're like, okay, we want to tell you some stuff. We know we signed up for the show, and this is reality TV, but we don't want to say everything. And I think this kind of has to do with the fact that they have issues with the social media, people saying too much about things in the social media, and they're kind of, I don't know, they're like getting like, I don't really want to talk about things and discuss things because of social media and what people on social media might say. And I think they're forgetting about the fact that, look, guys, you are on a TV show. You signed up as a cast to show people and tell people about your life, which has nothing to do with social media. And I think they're making a big mistake, a big boo-boo, by not having them be able to talk about their lives because they're kind of apprehensive about the fact that what are people going to say about on social media. So I think that, they cannot allow social media to dictate what they're supposed to be doing on a TV show. Okay, moving on to point number 4, the MVP moment, guys. Yes, the MVP moment. Okay. And the MVP moment goes to Carlos King. Yeah, Carlos King. He's not here. But, in a reunion, Carlos King is very, very present. And the most valuable player moment is the MVP moment. And I love that Carlos King, that he was very emotional. He showed us a very emotional side that he shows at times. How he was actually crying. Yes, Carlos King was crying. He really wanted Martell and Melody to work it out. And not only could you feel that through the television, but also he said that, and that was the emotions. And, that's what I like, and that's why the Binti Love podcast gave Carlos King the MVP moment, because you want to feel the realness and sincerity of what's really going on here. And I think they kind of like clamp up when it's like, when they're like on the reunion and they're all facing each other. That might be an issue. And they know they have to talk about issues. That might be an issue if you think about it. But, he really was like, he doesn't want, he does not want Melody. He's very sad in how things have happened. And this is what allegedly, this is what Carlos King was saying on the reunion. He doesn't want Melody. He's saddened by Melody and Martell breaking up. And he's like, I really hope they'll get back together. Which I think everyone does agree that they want, kind of like his words were like, I really want Martell and Melody to work it out. So that's really what it was, and that's why I gave Carlos King the Binti Love podcast, 5.5 star review. I gave him, the MVP moment because I felt that, okay, the MVP moment again, for those of you who don't know about it, the most valuable player moment, for me, I feel like that was the moment when the episode came together in reunion. It was that spark that was needed. Or, those, I do review plays and performances. It was that song and the whole play, that moment, like, that really made the episode or the play or things of that sort. Okay. Yeah, so that's what that was. And so that's why I gave that to him. I was like, okay, good job, Carlos. Good job, Carlos. Because no one really wanted them to break up. And they always helped the Melody and Martell get back together. And I like, just how they seem to, be, how Martell sometimes looks at Melody. Yeah. Okay, now is this a research or a teachable moment, guys? It's a research moment. Yeah, I feel as though, be more attentive and alert at these reunions. It is not the time to sit in the chair, button-lipped, which I felt some of them did here. It was like, okay, yeah, we're not going to talk. I'm like, guys, it's about you. You guys have to talk. Yeah, so the research moment is like, some of y'all jobs seem to be on the line. I hate to say it. And so I feel as though the teachable moment is basically, you guys have to, with teachable moment, you guys have to basically be able to talk, Like, he was like saying some people wanted Stormy to get fired. Some people wanted Destiny to get fired, And those are the moments where you have to talk about, okay, why you need to be on the show and how you feel you're relevant, things of that sort. And prove your worth there. And that's what I feel is that the teachable moment needs for them to be able to do that. Yeah, and a lot of times I don't think they're doing that. Okay, move on to point number 5. Most loving moment is like I was speaking about earlier, guys. Yeah. How Martell still looks at Melody. Did you guys notice that? Yeah, so the most loving moment, point number 5, is how Martell still looks at Melody like it is something out of place. Like they should not be sitting separately. And you can just feel that, like, this was a real divorce. They have kids, and it's a breakup of a family unit. And so you can see that like what Carlos King was trying to say, thinking that they should get back together, and they really do still want to get back together. And you can definitely feel that with Martell during this reunion, like, he doesn't want Melody sitting there on the other side like that. But, the things that happen, it is what it is, and, and what happened, she doesn't want to keep going through the same thing with him. No one wants that, right? And that's why they finally got a divorce. And so, for them to get back together, I think it has to be a consistent, something he does consistently, like, to show, like she said in the prior episode, I'm not a yo-yo. Melody told him in a prior episode, she was like, I'm not a yo-yo. You want me to do this, and you want me to do that, and then you want me to do this? And she's like, no, she had enough, No one could be a yo-yo. And so I guess she would probably have to say that he's not yo-yoing her around, which is a toy that just goes up and down, and, that's it for her whole life. And no one wants to do that. And so it would take a lot of dedication and commitment and choice for them to get back together. There's no telling. They might get back together, but it would be a real come back together. And that would be what that would need to be done. Okay, so, yeah, that was my 5th and final point. Which always ends in love, because it's the Binti podcast, 5 points, 5-star review. And again, make sure to subscribe, and tell 10 people to subscribe too. And also, guys, like and comment below. Share your viewpoints, because it is a family affair. So comment below and talk about what you think about the episode. And again, this is this is the real, Huntsville, Alabama, season 5, episode 17, reunion part 2. And this is really how it goes here. And that's the review. This is the 5 points, 5 stars review. Bye, guys.